Okay, fourth grade. I'm doing it this way so you can see my work really well for each problem and it's not all weird and zoomed out. So I apologize that it's a little bit shaky because I don't have any kind of tripod, but you need to, once you closed out the video, if you did not watch the lesson video first, go back and watch the lesson video and then get your math book, and you need it opened right now to page number 277 because we're going to do some problems to practice together so that you're not all left on your own. 277 with a pencil ready, pause, go. Okay, at any point during this video, you feel free to pause it and then press play to keep going so that you make sure that you have all of the work down. And you can either choose to do these sections one of two ways. You can either go through the video and do everything with me all in a row, or after each section, you can pause the video, finish out that section so it's fresh in your brain, and then press play and keep going. So I will tell you what that means. So first of all, we're on page 277. In the class practice, section 1, you see the little shapes. There's a yellow triangle and a red square. And then I think there's some other rectangles, pink and purple maybe. But the instructions for this section say to find the perimeter using only addition. Okay, so that's the first method we learned. So remember, the perimeter is the distance around a shape. So we have our perimeter, our formula is P equals A plus B plus C. Okay, so let's say this one is A, this one is B, and this one is C. So what we're going to do is our perimeter equals 4, length A is 4 yards, length B is 2 yards, so 4 plus 2, plus length C is 5 yards. Okay, so we're only using addition. So we have our perimeter equals 4 plus 2 is 8, plus 5 is what? 13. Our perimeter equals 13. Now don't forget to label. You need to label it. They have, right now these all have the same unit, which is yards, so that is important that you keep it. Perimeter equals 13 yards. And I do want you to circle that because this is where it gets important, that you circle your answer so you know what the work, or so I know what the answer is and all of your future teachers know what the answer is. All right, let's look at letter B. And you have a square, and remember, we know it's a square because all 4 sides are 8 feet. They're all the same length. So we're using all addition. Okay, remember, addition. So our perimeter equals side plus side plus side plus side, or in this case, one side is 8 feet, so that all sides are 8 feet. So we have our perimeter equals 8. Make sure you're doing the work with me. 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. Okay, so we know, let's do that together. Perimeter, and when you do an equation, don't forget you always drop this down, okay? That's what you're finding. So we have 8 plus 8 is 16, plus 8 is 24, plus 8 is 32. So our perimeter is 32 what? 32, our unit that we're using for the sides is feet. 32 feet is our perimeter of this square. So right now, you need to finish the last 2 problems in this section at some point today. You can either pause the video and do them right now and then press play to keep going, or you can go on to the next section with us and then do the rest at the end whenever I'm done with this video. You choose. We are going to move on to section number 2 right below it. Okay, A and B we're going to do together. That section says to use multiplication in that method to find the perimeter. So they just give us the length and they give us the width. Now the reason they do this is because you need to imagine this is just an imaginary rectangle. Okay, so my length is 6 inches and my width is 5 inches. If that helps you, then you can do that. That's fine. But that in perimeter, they're often just going to give you the length and the width because they want you to really focus on memorizing the formula. So our multiplication formula for perimeter, just to review, is P equals, and then we have these parentheses, 2 times our length plus another set of parentheses, 2 times our width, okay? So that's why they give you the length and the width, and that's it. Because if you know the length and the width, you can plug them into the formula without even adding and just get going, okay? So drop down your P equals. Okay, let's solve inside the first set of parentheses. Or we actually need to fill in the length, I'm sorry. Our length is what? Length up here is 6 inches. So we're just going to do 2 times 6. We're rewriting the formula before we can solve. And our width we have 2 times what? 2 times our width equals 5, so we're going to insert 5 for that W there, 2 times 5. Okay, so let's solve inside the parentheses. Our perimeter equals 2 times 6 is 12, plus, drop your plus sign down, 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, so we're just left with these two numbers to add. So our perimeter is what? 12 plus 10 equals 22. Don't forget your units. What is our unit that we used up here? Inches. So our perimeter is not just 22. That would be incorrect. The correct answer is our perimeter is 22 inches. This unit is extremely important in area and perimeter, which we're learning right now, because if you say the perimeter is 22 and you mean inches, but I make a 22-foot rectangle, that's going to be a big, huge difference, okay? So you always, always, always have to label these problems with the correct unit, just like we've talked about before. All right, let's do letter B together. Our length, well, first let's write down our formula for multiplication. So we have our formula is the perimeter equals, first set of parentheses, 2 times our length, plus, I'm smushing it because I have other stuff on the board, 2 times our width, okay? Go ahead and write that down in your book before we solve. Okay, now let's insert the correct numbers for our L and our W that show length and width. So our perimeter is 2 times, what's L? 2 times 21 plus 2 times, what's our width? 7. Okay, so then let's solve. Again, pause this if you need to catch up on writing the formula down. It's more important for you to do it with me than for you to just watch it and do it yourself. So we have our perimeter equals 2 times 21 is what? 42. Plus 2 times 7 is 14. So our perimeter equals 14 plus 42 would be 56. Okay, 56 what? What is our unit being used? Yards. Very good. Okay, you can either finish the last two in this section right now and then press play to catch or to do the rest of the practice, or you can wait until I'm done with this entire video. Your choice. All right, I want you to turn back or turn over to the back of this page, number 270. I actually forget what it is. 278, because there is one problem in section 3. Okay, so we're moving on. It's not the first row; it's the second row. I want you to look at 3B. Okay, this is what it looks like. When you find it, press play again, ready to go. Make sure you're on this problem. Okay, this is this section you are solving equations. And this equation, I just want to make sure that we do this together so you know and I know that you're doing it correctly, okay? Remember, this is our missing number we need to solve for. And then what you do to one side, you have to do to another. So this is an improper fraction, and remember, you can also use the fraction bar and read it as divided by, okay? So 15 divided by 3. So that's the first thing we're going to do because we can't solve this side yet. So just copy that straight down like you do in your formulas. X minus 3 equals 15 divided by 3. What is 15 divided by 3? 5, okay? Now we need to get x by itself. So you have to do the opposite of what is with x and do it over here also. So the opposite of subtraction is addition, okay? So we're going to add 3 to both sides, because if you don't have any and you gain 3, you're back at your starting point, okay? Negative 3 plus 3, okay? So the opposite, so this cancels each other out. So we just have x all by itself. X equals 5 plus 3 is what? 8, okay? So that is how you solve number 3B. I just wanted to clarify on that fraction. You're going to have to do the rest of that section, the last two problems in that section also, okay? So you can either pause and do them now, or you can just wait until I'm done. All right, now turn over to look over at page number 279. This is the page that's focused on the perimeter of squares. That was the second part of our lesson video. So we're going to do these 4 problems together, and then you will finish the ones that I have assigned to you after. Section 1, the instructions tell you to find the perimeter of the squares using addition. okay? So if I'm on 1A right here, one side equals 3 yards. So if you imagine a square, each side equals 3, okay? So what I'm going to do is 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. 4 sides, 4 threes. So 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 3 is 12. So my perimeter equals 12 what? 12 yards. Okay, pretty simple, nothing too crazy. Okay, moving over to letter B. Again, I have a square. You can always tell it's a square because this means sides, but I also remember the S is what begins the word square, okay? So if you're ever not sure why it just says side, you can tell it's a square, whereas if you have length and width, you're going to know it's a rectangle. All right, so our sides are 9 inches each. So using addition, we're going to do 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 because there are 4 sides to a square. So we have 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9. So 9 plus 9 is 18, plus 9 is 27, plus 9 is 36. So our perimeter of this square equals 36 inches. Don't forget to label those. All right, so you can either finish this section, pause the video and finish this section right now, or you can wait until I'm done, but we are going to move on to number 2, letter A and B, where we are using the multiplication method to find our perimeter of the square. So letter A, our first one, a side is 3 yards. S equals 3 yards. So our perimeter of a square formula is P equals 4, because there's 4 sides to a square, times our side. All right? So P equals 4 times what? Our side equals what? 3. 4 times 3. P equals 4 times 3 is 12. 12 what? 12 yards. So this is actually just the same measurement as what we did in number 1, but showing you the difference between adding and multiplying. I don't know about you, but I much prefer the multiplication method because I think it's way faster than doing all of this, and our brains naturally work towards math or multiplication now in your mind. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys do your multiplication speed drills much faster than you do your addition because you have worked all of these years on making sure multiplication is your first form of math, which is natural. That's what we want you to do. You're doing great if that's the case. And if you're still working with addition, that's fine too. Your brain just works differently, and that's okay. Whichever one works for you, you get to choose either sides. I prefer multiplication in general, so I like this formula much better than this formula. You decide. So let's go ahead and do letter B, and then we will be done. So letter B, this is the square. You can tell because it's just the S. So our formula for multiplication to find the perimeter is P equals 4 sides of a square, so 4 times our side, and our side equals what? 9. So our new formula, fill it in, equals 4 times 9. P, or perimeter, equals 4 times 9 is what? 36. 36, don't forget this, inches. Okay, and circle, I forgot to circle this one, okay? And that is how you do the multiplication. So you can go ahead, this is actually the end of the video. Look at your assignment list for today to know exactly what numbers and which sections to do in your math. I hope this helped.